the hard work that you put in and day out to keep this store running, and it looks fantastic. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right. So welcome. Welcome to the grand reopening of our West End store and donation center. Let's clap. It is wonderful to see all of you and to have you here on this special day where we're celebrating our oldest location. So this store was originally opened in 1973. So I did some homework and I found out that there was a lot of things going on that year. It was the year that we ended our involvement in the Vietnam War. It was the year that Maynard Jackson was elected the first black mayor of Atlanta. And I'm a Kentuckian, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it was the year, 1973, that Secretariat won the Kentucky Derby. So it was a great year. There were a lot of things going on in our country, in our community, and then on top of all of that, we had this store, our longest standing store that was open. So this is a great day. So let's give a hand for the store and the history and everything that's happened. So we're here today to celebrate the refresh of this store. It's been refreshed, it's been renovated, and it's ready to go. But before we open the doors, I do want to have Brian East come up and give us a little more information about the history of the store. Brian is our Executive Director of DGR.
Hello, everyone. Wow, welcome to West End. Isn't she beautiful? Oh my goodness. As Kendria mentioned, West End is our oldest existing store, and it represents Goodwill's representation, or I'm sorry, Goodwill's commitment to the West End community. And we have been in the community since 1973. Isn't that amazing? So, I wasn't here in 1973. I was born, but not here, contrary to belief. But I did join the organization in 2002. And just to add a little color to how far West End has come, when I came here, the budget for this store was $60,000 a month. I know you're over there laughing, saying, I wish I had that now, right? So, fast forward, last year, this store did $1.9 million in sales. And probably most amazingly, in the category that I call the pound for pound category, they did $218 for sales per square foot. No, here's what makes it amazing. It ranks 6th out of all 69 stores, making it truly the little giant in the community. So, there are a lot of people to thank, but I want to thank a few. I'd like to start with thanking Keith Parker, Del McKinney, for your vision and support of the project. I'd like to thank the amazing Cartella Fuller for orchestrating the refresh project. I got to give a shout out to Armand and Maria for your pre-planning and work on site. And then most importantly, I want to thank the team for all that they do and to make this possible. Their past performance has gotten us here, and they did all the work to put this store together. So let's give them a round of applause. So I am super, super excited to see what this store is going to do in the future, because I know we will eclipse the $2 million mark here soon. So thank you.
Awesome. I mentioned Secretariat earlier, and believe it or not, there is a correlation between this location, West End, and Secretariat. And that correlation is it takes a team. So you just don't have a horse that turns into a Derby winner, a Triple Crown winner, by itself. It takes a team of people behind it to train it, to make it strong, and make it believe in himself. And that's the same thing that has happened here and that happens every day with Goodwill. So thank you to the team and everyone who has worked hard to make this happen. Thank you. Let's clap for them. And now we're going to have Cartella Fuller come up. Cartella is our Senior Director of Guest Experience and Store Operations and my best friend at work.
All right, good morning, everybody. So I hope you guys are really excited to be here. Like you mentioned, this is our oldest location. We finally got to the time to actually refresh this to what you see today. So I started my journey here at Goodwill about almost 19 years ago and had the opportunity of actually being the director of this location then, right? And so ultimately, it was always about what can we do different with West End? And at that time, it was like we absolutely couldn't do anything. So you get here today and you see something very, very beautiful. So when I think about one word to kind of describe what you see today, it's one team. So when we start this process, once we get the green light, we actually visit the location with our Vice President of DGR, Dale McKinney, our Vice President of Facility Services, Scott Perry, our Vice President of Marketing, Elaine Armstrong, and also our Vice President of Career Services, Jenny Taylor, if we're co-located with the Career Center. So following that, we actually, our team, DGR Operations, will come in and do measurements and begin to actually develop the retail layout for this particular process. So once they give their final feedback, we begin what we consider our weekly conference calls with all of our partners in this room. And generally it takes about 20 weeks for us to have those conversations. And that happens with IT, marketing, a little bit of finance, all of our partners to be able to get to what you see here today. So when you think about the acronym RRR, because many of you in the room have heard that word before, that's our refresh, reset, refocus. And our refresh is focused on what you see here is fresh paint, flooring, signs, doing our break rooms for our teams. When you think about the part of the reset, we are resetting our back rooms and our sales floors to maximize production as well as sales. And then lastly, we refocus our teams on our standard operating procedures. So I want to say thank you to all of our partners for your support, your execution, and your accountability to what you see today here at West End. Thank you.
Thank you, Cartella. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but my name is Kendria Lewis, and I'm the Director of Advertising. I'm a part of the marketing team. And today, I'm actually standing in for my colleague, Trinice Lyons. She is the one that has been doing all the work and putting all this together, and unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. But I do want to give her a shout out. Hopefully, she's watching online, and just thank her for the hard work and support that she's provided for everyone. So thank you, Trinice. Now, last but not least, we want to have our president and CEO, Keith Parker, come up and give us a few words.
How did Dale sneak out of getting some FaceTime up here? Well, good morning. And you know, the last time I was in this store, I ran into a woman who I'd known for a few years, Stephanie Stuckey. And how many of you have heard of Stuckey's brands, the stores you see along the interstate and so forth? So Stephanie at the time was still working with the city of Atlanta, and she soon thereafter, just literally just maybe a few weeks, had decided to take over her family's business. And those of you who have shopped at Stuckey's, you know it's always been a pretty good place, but it needed a little bit more investment. And that's exactly what I think of this store, the West End store. And those of you who don't know the story of what's happened with Stuckey's since she took it over, it has now exploded. And now it's become, per square foot and by all sorts of other retail measures, one of the most successful retail brands. And that's what I think is going to happen here. This is a store that's always punched above its weight. It's always done pretty well. But now, with this new investment, this new focus, we think it's going to be a superstar performer. And we know this store means so much more than just one of the 69 Goodwill stores. Symbolically, it is one of the most important places, one of the most important investments that we have. And so for all the team members who've made this happen, thank you very much. Thank you for making this one of the best looking Goodwill facilities anywhere. Thank you for investing in your team and making them feel great. I can tell just from the little bit of interaction, the culture here is very, very strong. And we also want to thank the folks who will be our partners and neighbors throughout this community. This is a great place. This is a place that we want to be. We'll be here for a long time. Lots of folks thought when we opened up the Metropolitan store, this one would go away. Absolutely not. More investment, greater participation, more resources will be poured into this community. So let me thank also Mark Hoffman, our board member, who's now one of our longest serving board members, and he is phasing out. He's in his last few months as a board member. So let's thank him for all the years of service to Goodwill. And with that, are we ready to open? All right. Well, come on up, Mark. I'm surprised Charles Mary wasn't going to sneak in the back.
I'm from Kentucky too. Where are you from?
Oh.
Me too.
Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
We're homegirls.
I know. I didn't know that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Vernon. We are open at 9 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.